Thanks for sending me the search stuff. I think that would be complicated. So I'm going to go in and search and show you how I would kind of trial and error my way through stuff. I have de-identified the information, but I just have the text of the email here. And so I'm going to go to PsycInfo. And PsycInfo, I think it might be an EBSCO database. Let's take a look. I think I've already logged in. And instead of going to the name of the database, I'm going to go to psychology because I know that's the one at the top of the list. PsycInfo. Yeah, that's an EBSCO database. So you're good. EBSCO has a whole bunch of different topical databases. Think of it like going into a store and then like there's the psychology department, there's the electronics department, there's the civil engineering department. So even though this is EBSCO, it is the psychology department. So you could look at all of the EBSCO databases in one fell swoop, or you can look at these little fields of study. The reason that it's valuable to go into the specific fields of study is that you don't get all this other stuff maybe it's about something completely different. So let's go to the advanced search. So we're in the psychology database. The cool thing about advanced search is we can break stuff down into concepts. So let's go back over to my notes. So, okay, here we go. Play therapy and emdr for children. Let's start with that one. So we have the intervention, and we have the population. And here's the cool thing, is it'll give you synonyms for that. So if a study is looking at like an age, here they have like an age range. What's your range for children? And there's no hard and fast set moment for children. We know that if you're 50, you're not a child, but like, does childhood stop at 10 or 11? When does adolescence begin? Youth, child, or teenager? So we can catch all of them. And it's still talking about that population. Oh, there's even pediatric, another spelling of pediatric. Okay, so you could, mess around with these as you go. But what the or means is it's going to look for play therapy and EMDR, and then out of the articles that it returns with those in it, then it's going to look for this word or this word or this word or this word, so we can catch all those different iterations. And lastly, we want these things. So that's the intervention, that's the population, and this is the methodology, how the data is being gathered and measured. And I'm going to get rid of QED, and I'm going to put stuff in quotes like you did above. Quasi-experimental. And I'm going to get rid of trials, because quasi-experimental should cover it. And I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Randomized control. And I don't think it's ever referred to as random control. It's just randomized. So I think we're safe with either of those. So it's what you could do is look for these one at a time. So I'm going to do that. Let's see if we can just find a randomized control trial. Well, no, before I narrow down, let's see what we get with this. So what this means right now is the article has to have play therapy, and it has to have EMDR. I'm supposing that this might be where we run into problems, because you might have to just look for play therapy and children in randomized control trial. So play therapy and EMDR, you might have to do like search for one and then search for another, because they don't often mix methods as often as they do like a single study of one intervention. That makes sense. But let's experiment. Fingers crossed. Okay. Your initial search query did not yield any results. So let's go back. Let's take away something. Let's try searching for, I hope it didn't erase everything that I just searched for. No. Okay, I'm going to go forward, and hopefully it'll remember. Oh, whew, I didn't want to type all that in again. So let's get rid of EMDR. And let's say, okay, let's look at just one intervention. Oh, look at there. There's all these synonyms for it too. Child-centered play therapy. Let's just go with play therapy. Okay, so we got rid of EMDR. So the article now is looking for play therapy in a particular population in a particular methodology. And it doesn't have to have EMDR. Let's see what happens. How many do we get with that? I'm confident, but I don't know. Hey, 24. When you put in randomized control or quasi-experimental, they will typically have declared their methodology. So you would find that sometimes they'll say their methodology in the title, but oftentimes it's going to be in the abstract. So let's see where it showed up. Oh yeah, here we go, quasi-experimental. So that's all you have to do is go through these 24 and say, okay, which one is this? Which one is that? And you should be able to find a good pile of both of those. Conversely, let's go back up, and instead of do play therapy, we'll do EMDR. And I think we're okay acronymizing that. And we're doing the same search, different intervention. So here's where we ran into trouble. So I'm going to do EMDR and see if this improves it. Or eye movement desensitization reprocessing. I actually never knew what that stood for. So it's just like, EMDR. Two. Okay. So this is a systematic narrative review. The methodology is a systematic review. So in that, they probably looked at randomized control or quasi-experimental. So it could be that there's not a lot of EMDR with this particular population. Here's where we would test that idea. I'm going to get rid of this population. And now I'm just looking for EMDR and the methodology. So if we omit the population, what do we get? I bet there's going to be a lot more. I know EMDR is used a lot with PTSD. Oh, 13, not a lot. And we've already seen that one. Okay, so here's what you would have to do is, so the play therapy, you're good with that one. There's 24, that should be good to work with. For EMDR, it could be that we have to talk to your instructor and say, how many articles do you need? Do you just need one? That might cover it, or do we have to go farther in? I'm really surprised that there's so few with EMDR. Yeah, they're EMDR and PTSD. Maybe it's that they haven't done randomized control trial. Oh, let's go back. Let's look at that population, but get rid of RCT and quasi-experimental. You can see how I'm going. You just systematically go through each one and go, well, why did this not show up? So do we use EMDR with the children, adolescents, or youth, or child? $449. Why they haven't done randomized control trial or quasi-experimental? That's curious. There's only the two, and then this one's a systematic review. So, and this one is in adults. Sigh. Okay, so work with your professor and talk about this and see if they have any suggestions. But it could be that EMDR just hasn't been studied in this particular way, and definitely not in this population. So let me know how it goes, but this is a good starting point, good Sunday starting point to keep you encouraged. Have a nice rest of this beautiful sunny day that we've had.